the Democrats have gone very far away from Israel. I cannot understand how they can do that. They don't want to fund Israel. They want to take away foreign aid to Israel. They want to do a lot of bad things to Israel. In my opinion, you vote for a Democrat, you're being very disloyal to Jewish people, and you're being very disloyal to Israel.
President Trump there not backing off his criticism of Congresswomen Omar and Tlaib and doubling down on his comments about Jewish voters and the Democratic Party. Joining us now, New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, who serves on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and is one of only 2 Jewish Republicans in the House. Congressman, good morning to you. What did you think of the president's message there?
Well, the president's being accused of anti-Semitism, which is crazy. He has shown so much love and support for Jews and the U.S.-Israel relationship. He has pursued policies, has secured victories to strengthen that relationship, that alliance between the United States and Israel. The president wants more people to vote for him next November after he spent an entire term fighting for all of these wins. Many of them were promises made by presidents in the past, presidential candidates in the past. They never followed through. So whether it's moving the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, opposing BDS and anti-Semitism here at home and abroad, and that list goes on, withdrawing from the fatally flawed Iran nuclear deal, he has focused throughout his entire first term in office towards these very important priorities for many Jews and non-Jews here in the United States.
Then very specifically, can you respond to him saying towards the tail end of his comments there, in my opinion, if you vote for a Democrat, you're being disloyal to Jewish people and you're being very disloyal to Israel. Do you agree with his message there?
There's a long history with regards to that term loyalty or disloyalty, where others with bad intent, with hatred towards Israel and the Jews. I mean, going all the way back to whether it's Adolf Hitler to what we're seeing right now in other ways manifested from Tlaib and Omar in the House of Representatives. There's been an issue with the use of that word. The president, who, as I said, is approaching this from a very different standpoint, he chose to use a word that I wouldn't use in that particular context. He's being accused of anti-Semitism, which is just so not true. When the definition of anti-Semitism requires a hatred towards Jews, and he's shown that he has none of it. He's literally, his son-in-law, his daughter, his grandchildren are Jewish, and as I mentioned earlier, all of those policy victories. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, on the other side, the folks who are going after the President of the United States have empowered, elevated, been silenced. Others have backed up. Tlaib and Omar and others provided cover for it, and that hypocrisy is one to call out as well.
Well, Ilhan Omar responded yesterday with a tweet saying this: "We got elected by the people, do the work of the people, and cannot be defeated by smears or attacks." Next, with an emoji clearly indicating she's moving on. We had the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, with us on earlier. We asked him, too, about the president's messaging with the Congresswoman. Here he responded.
I think the general message is right, but he has a tendency to go about 10% too far. Disloyalty has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of judgment. I think that it's fair to say that the radicals in the Democratic Party stand for the elimination of Israel as a country. And I think that that's going to cause, ultimately, a pretty profound civil war in the Democratic Party.
That was the former speaker at the top of our 9 o'clock hour this morning. Congressman, you have penned a piece published on foxnews.com. Tlaib Omar are all about weakening Israel. They stay silent on Hamas, Palestinian Authority. You write in that piece, Congressman, quote, "The 2 congresswomen attack Israel while remaining silent on Hamas, using women and children as human shields, denying humanitarian aid to its own people, calling jihad an obligation, and launching rockets into Israel that kill innocent civilians." Finally, your thoughts and your point in that piece published on foxnews.com again.
Yeah, and Tlaib was on the floor of the House of Representatives comparing boycotting Israel to boycotting Nazi Germany. The hate that they have towards Israel, they're constantly on the attack, both of them, and they never call out anything with regards to Hamas, which is a designated foreign terrorist organization, Hezbollah, which is a designated foreign terrorist organization, the Palestinian Authority that pays people to incite violence and financially reward terror. Leadership of the House Democrats, they haven't really called it out by name. Instead, we passed a resolution that was an all hate matters resolution. It didn't name names, and they even appointed Omar to the Foreign Affairs Committee. Meanwhile, what's trending on Twitter this morning, I see an editor from the New York Times who's scrubbing his account, this guy Tom Wright Piersanti, because he was self-describing himself as an anti-Semite, and he was going after Jews and others. So we're seeing people, whether it's members of Congress, who feel this way, others providing cover in Congress, an activist base, and also members of the media. There's a lot of disgusting hypocrisy and double standards. And as I point out with that last piece, Tom Wright Piersanti should be fired, but meanwhile, the New York Times never said anything about it. The House Democrats should remove Omar from the House Foreign Affairs Committee, but instead they do nothing about it. So that's what's really frustrating a lot of us who want to see all the balls and strikes called accurately and evenly, but there's a lot of double standards and moral equivalency at play.
And obviously, I have a lot to say on all of that. Congressman Lee Zeldin, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.